What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to Maniaci Games, and welcome to my WWE 2K22 Universe Mode, the introduction. Now, I've been spending the last 2 to 3 weeks finalizing the little details because I want this series to be perfect, and I'm very excited to start it. Now, originally going into it, I wanted to make it like a huge production. I wanted to make it seem like you're watching Raw, NXT, or Smackdown, but that takes a lot of time. I tried it years ago, and it takes a very long time, a lot of commitment, and I have a main channel, I have a life outside of this, and I just didn't think I could commit fully to that. So rather than doing that, this will be like a simulation of universe mode. I'm not going to play any of the matches. It's going to be all CPU, and storylines will be created from that going forward, as well as the power rankings also making the play in this, man. So as you can see, we got Raw, NXT 2.0, and Smackdown. And as I go through the details of each show, feel free to pause, look at the roster, the show details, arenas, etc. But we're going to start it off with Raw, man. So this is the Raw roster right here. Like I said, you can pause it as DLC comes out, maybe even some community creations come into play. I'll also download that, add to the roster. I know DLC comes out, I want to say the next few days. Omos and Casey Catanzaro will be included in the first DLC. And yeah, so that'd be the Raw roster. We also have the championships for Monday Night Raw: the World Heavyweight Championship, World Tag Team Championships, the Women's World Championship, as well as the Intercontinental title, and the Women's Tag Team Championships will be spread out through all three brands. Now, as far as custom championships, I tried creating my own, but it was an epic fail. So with each respective episode, in my description, I will be giving credit to all creators on these championships, whether it be used on Raw and or Smackdown. I'll make sure they get their credit. Now, Monday Night Raw will have a total of 4 matches each week. And without further ado, let's check out the arena. So this is the arena right here. I grew up, originally in the Attitude Era. I kind of caught WWE at the latter end of the Attitude Era, but mostly Ruthless Aggression. I love just the Raw stage from 2002 to 2005-ish. I just love the atmosphere, the red ropes, the red everything. So I kind of got inspiration from that, in the Minitron, incorporating that 2002 to 2007 Raw Minitron. I even kind of made it a little bit of a modern touch, as you see the side banners. I believe that is the 2006 Raw side banners that I incorporated. But, we still got the modern stage with the entrance movie will be displayed there. And now let's move on to NXT 2.0. Now, originally I wanted to do the black and gold NXT, but with this newest update that 2K just put in the game, they added the actual NXT 2.0. This is not a community creation. They added it into the game yesterday. I'm actually really excited to use it. And as you can see right here, this is the NXT roster. Like I said, you guys can pause it to evaluate the roster. And as we move on to the championships, of course, it'll be every championship that NXT has right now. The NXT title, NXT North American Championship, Tag Team titles, Women's Championship, as well as the NXT, or I should say, the WWE Women's Tag Team titles that will be defended throughout all 3 brands. Now, the NXT 2.0 arena. It's the arena that they use in real life, so it ain't really much to show from that. And last but not least, Friday Night Smackdown, man. So Friday Night Smackdown, this is the roster for Smackdown for the blue brand. You guys can pause it and check it out. Like I said, throughout this universe mode, as DLC comes out, maybe there might be a community creations that I want to download for anybody that's not in this game. Add them to the roster as time goes on, but this is the official roster starting out for Smackdown. So moving on to the championships, we have, of course, the WWE Championship. We have the WWE Women's Championship. We have the WWE Tag Team Championship, as well as the United States Championship, and of course the Women's Tag Team titles that will be defended throughout all 3 shows. Now, my reasoning for doing World Tag Team and WWE Tag Team again, like I said, I've been a big fan of the Ruthless Aggression era and just the structure of the brand split. That's kind of why I want to do it this way. I know WWE, they're even nowadays, they're starting to unify the titles again. I personally am not a fan of that. I like it old school. Exclusiveness to Raw, exclusiveness to Smackdown, exclusiveness to any brand, even back in the ECW days. I just love that exclusiveness, man. So that's why I want to do a brand split as far as, you know, my universe mode goes for this year. So now let's move on to the pay-per-view schedule for the year. And now on to the pay-per-view schedule. Now I kind of ran into a roadblock while planning out these pay-per-views. Every time I tried to put an NXT takeover the day before, you know how they usually do, or they used to do, you know, Saturday was NXT, Sunday was the pay-per-view. I tried doing that. It just ended up creating the show, so I had to scrap it. And NXT is just going to be on a week before each of these respective pay-per-views. So the first pay-per-view will be for NXT. It'll be NXT TakeOver in your house. A week after that will be the first pay-per-view, which will be a joint Raw and Smackdown pay-per-view, the Money in the Bank event. Now moving on to June, we'll have Raw's first ever brand exclusive pay-per-view, Vengeance. Moving into July, we have NXT Great American Bash. Ending out July with SmackDown's first exclusive pay-per-view of this universe mode calendar, Payback. Moving into August, once again the same issue that I had earlier, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn will be a week before SummerSlam, so it'll be a week-long festivity thing in my universe mode. And then of course SummerSlam week will end with the joint Raw and SmackDown SummerSlam pay-per-view. Now moving into September, we got Unforgiven, personal favorite pay-per-view of mine growing up, so that'll be a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. Moving into October, we have SmackDown's exclusive Judgment Day pay-per-view, and ending out October with NXT's Halloween Havoc. Now into November, we're going to be going overseas to the UK. We got NXT TakeOver UK to start off Survivor Series week. Of course, ending out Survivor Series as the pay-per-view for the end of November. So finally, December. Well, finally for this year in universe mode, we got December, which would be SmackDown's exclusive Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And then moving into January, we have NXT TakeOver Chicago to start off Royal Rumble week. And of course, the Royal Rumble, which will be in Chicago. Now, moving on to February, we have Raw and SmackDown's Elimination Chamber. It will be the final pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Now, speaking of WrestleMania, we're going to start WrestleMania week off with NXT TakeOver Hollywood. And following that, of course, WrestleMania Hollywood. So those are the details for the calendar, the pay-per-view calendar. Now it's time to reveal who the general managers will be. You gotta have a GM for universe mode. You gotta, it creates structure. You gotta have a GM. So we're gonna start it off with SmackDown, and the general manager of SmackDown will be Stephanie McMahon. I love Stephanie McMahon when she was general manager of SmackDown. Just Stephanie and that authoritative television figure, it's gold. It's the chef's kiss, man. So it's only right that Stephanie McMahon, she will be the general manager of SmackDown. Now moving on to NXT 2.0. Of course, as many of you probably already guessed it, it will be Triple H, the Game, the King of Kings. He may be retired, but listen, NXT is his baby. He's gonna run that show. He will be the general manager of NXT 2.0. Now finally, the general manager of Monday Night Raw. Now, looking at it in the grand scheme of things, you know, controversy creates cash. I think back to 2002 when Vince McMahon announced Eric Bischoff as the general manager of Monday Night Raw. He was once his rival, his competitor in the Monday Night Wars. Now he's running his show. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the general manager of Monday Night Raw, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Now listen, universe mode will be starting tomorrow. Episode 1 of Monday Night Raw. Each episode will be an individual show, so I won't be combining Raw and SmackDown into one episode. They're each gonna stand on their own. I'm excited about this. I hope you guys are excited about this, man. Let me know, should I use my face cam for universe mode? I already recorded the first episode without my face cam. Just let me know. Do y'all want to see me in these episodes, or should it just be strictly gameplay sound off in the comment section? I appreciate all y'all. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for me. We running it up on WWE 2K22, and I'll see you guys episode 1 Monday Night Raw.